There are a lot of people. Yeah. Can you imagine twice as many people used to be on this campus? We were over 1,600 at one point. And we don't even have the full 830 on campus. So it's kind of crazy. But it's a lot different, and it feels weird having so many people around. I don't know if it feels weird to you, but it feels weird to me. All right, good job getting on. I hope you had a nice weekend. And there should be a new calendar. Let's pretend like we're doing this normal. Oh, baby goats. Those who haven't seen baby goats. It's pretty dang cute. They're so cute. They all have to be on that rock. I do not know why. So only 4 of them got on it this on Saturday. And then they started pushing each other off. It's like, I want to be on the road. You get off of here. Get off of here. Pretty cute. So, baby goats. Here's baby goats. Where am I? I am looking for our assignment. We are going to get situated with lab stations and lab partners. What did they say? Sorry, I'm so late. Thank you, Hannah. So even though we've already done this once before, that was when there was only half of you here, and yeah, so we are going to we're going to get new lab stations as well. A couple of people have ended up at the same lab station somehow, just by sheer happenstance. Some of you may want a different partner now that other people, the other cohorts back on campus. If you don't, that's fine. And don't be offended, James, if they decide they don't want to be partners, your old partner. And that is just how it's going to be. So I have the old partner list and the old station numbers, but we're going to do a little bit different on the station. So I'm going to put those here in case you forgot in a minute when we go back to look for our goggles. So I'm going to first start by giving you all an index card. And I would like you to put your last name, your first name. And we already sorted and contacts and all that stuff, but then we're talking August and I don't want to go digging for it. Okay, so forgive me if I forgot. But just put your last name, your first name. 5, not 4. And then one other person that you'd like to be partners with who's present or that you know for certain makes distance. And then if you have contacts anytime, you might possibly wear contacts in this classroom. I would like you to put that on the bottom, and I want to put you closest to the eye wash station, even though you always have goggles on. It's just a little extra precaution. So, lab. Okay, and hopefully you can come to an agreement with that other person. Once you've done that, these cards all ask you to go and get your goggles from your old lab stations. Most of you should have washed goggles and wrote your names on them. And then we'll come back and I'll assign new lab stations because we won't be doing every station. I'm just going to be really consistent and just work certain stations for the rest of the year. And I'll show you that in a second. And then while you're waiting, you can take a peek at the activity. So Friday, did this not go? Oh yeah, it did. Okay. On Friday, I showed how to light the burners, and I know those of you at home didn't probably get to see it very clearly. I'll go through it again tomorrow, but I did re-video on Friday afternoon after school, real quick, how to light your burners so you could hear it and see it, hopefully. What you're going to do when you go back to your lab stations is make sure that all the equipment is in your drawers that's supposed to be in there and nothing extra. And then down here where it says the goggles, there's not a middle drawer for most of the stations. Some of them do. Most of them, it's a drawer below either your metal drawer on the left or your glassware drawer on the right. None of you have a crucible and cover. I think the station should be pretty close to being all set. But the thing that you need to do while you're back there is find out which type of burner you have, because that'll be important for the lab document. Okay, so let's start out with cards. Write your name, like I said, last name first. And then we're going to one person's going to grab a paper clip and put it together. So I have 13 people, so we have an odd number. Does anybody know someone who's coming back next week? Anybody know anybody who's planning to come back next week? Anybody at home know you're planning to come back next week? Anybody planning to come back? Okay. Well, then we can have one group of 3 in here. Okay. So there's the line side on the cards. I know. So last name, first name, partner, and if you have contacts, please. And then one of the partners come grab a paper clip. Which I presume you do. You guys know who you want to work with, or do you need me to assign people? Everybody good? Okay. Partner, grab a paper clip, please. And then paper clip to your partner. And then give them to me. And then go ahead and head back and find your goggles. Hopefully you can find them. If you don't remember the period lab machines are over there, go see if you can find your goggles right now. And okay. Partners, grab a paper clip, somebody, and then go get your goggles. Ready, set, go. Kennedy, what are you paper clipping? Paper clip to your partner, your cards to your partner's card. Is this hard? Huh? Who's working together? Okay, I have a group of 3 now. I have a group of 3. So, pairs. Yep. Dominique, why don't you work with Esmeralda, please? Okay. Well, so somebody else must now have a partner. Who's not got a partner? Are there not 13 people in here? Come on, you guys. This is not hard. Good. Beautiful. Everybody got the goggles? Good. Okay. So nobody in here has contact lenses?
Has there been a group of 3 yet?
Yeah. Oh, no. Now we can have a group of 3.
Let's see.
Good. Okay, perfect. Okay, Justin, Maury, Jaden, you guys don't have contacts. Does anybody have contacts in this classroom? Not a soul? Oh, cool. All right, so gentlemen, Justin, so here's how the lab stations are going to look. A little different than last semester. Thank you. So I'm going to put Justin, Maury, and Jaden at team 11. At station 11, I should say. So that's right next door to where you are, gentlemen. Beautiful. And then Katie and Lily, why don't you be at station 1? And Dominique and Esme, why don't you be at station 3? Huh? And James and Kennedy, why don't you be at station 5? And Kate and CJ, number 7. And Luke and John, number 13, lucky number 13. Beautiful. All right, everybody find their goggles? Okay, do you find your goggles? Dancing man? Okay, so find a drawer next to your station. Okay, it may not be in the middle. It might be underneath. It might be to the left or the right. Doesn't matter. Okay, beautiful. Dominique and Esmeralda, you're so far back in the corner. Would you rather have a window seat? Or is that good? You guys good with that one? Okay. All right, go ahead and pull the equipment out of your drawers, take a look at it, make sure everything's there and accounted for. Oh, you get a brand new pair. So, what you're going to do for me, sweetie, is just write your name, abbreviate your name up on one of the sides. It doesn't matter. Okay. And then while you're looking, would you please double check and see what kind of burner you have? Figure out what kind of burner is at your station, please. Those of you at home, just assume you have a Tyrrell burner. So if you're not sure what kind of burner, so this is the layout. There should be a sheet and a sheet protector of the equipment. There's also a list of all the equipment. It should be there in case you forgot what stuff's called. Take a look at your burners, and if you forget what's what, that's a picture of it on the bottom of the lab. Oh, you can't see that, can you? You look at the picture. That's how you can tell. Look at the picture. Sit down. Are you stuck in there? All good? Oh, yeah, I have water, so I sit those out. All right, if you think you got it all, come on back. That should go with your goggles. Yeah. All right, so now we're all situated, and that'll be your station. Your partner will be your partner. So if we have to do any quarantining cohorts, we got it all figured out, and we need to stay working in the same places all the time. Let's go ahead and get into this document if you haven't already, please. This class had the most beach people over mountain people, just FYI. I forgot to do that a week ago, and then I remember this again. What a mess with no power on Saturday, huh? The power line to Tuolumne County, the singular power line went out. Seriously? Seriously. But it went out like at 3:30 in the morning, and then like our internet was out until about 10:30. And then we just got our internet back on 11:15. Out for the rest of the day. Anybody else lose power all day Saturday? Oh, that's really bad for computers. Do you guys have a surge protector? Do you have, so sometimes you can have them in little strips, little power strips have surge protectors. We have a whole house one we got put in years ago because we knew the power would come up and on. But yeah, that was nuts. And then yesterday, pretty much all day, the school email was out. I couldn't get a hold of Mr. Weenie. And then this morning I tried to do Aries, and Aries was out, which is how I was going to do my sitting charts. And then I got here, my computer went on. I'm fine though. Yeah. Okay. So you've checked your drawers. Everything's there. You should have your goggles. They should be labeled. Everything's all set. So part A is done. And then in part B, we'll work on this tomorrow, tying back your hair if you need to, and lighting our burners and getting some practice. We'll also talk about what we're going to do with the burners and why that's why we need to know how to use them. So you should know already combustion requires a fuel, requires oxygen and oxidant, but it's always got oxygen in it somehow. Oxygen in the air for us, and a spark, whether it's a spark from a sparker, a striker, or from a match, we get the thing rolling. Remember, it takes a little bit of energy always to get any kind of chemical reaction started, whether, no matter how exothermic it is. Our stations, the valves, are where the towels are on the risers. It's really a little bit awkward, to be quite honest with you. It's actually kind of a little bit dangerous, maybe. I've never been in a lab where the gas jets are up high. They've always been on the counter. But yeah, hey, there's a first for everything. So it works perfectly fine. We haven't had any issues over the years. You just have to be careful, because if you're hooking up your hose and you turn on your burner, you don't want the flame to melt your burner hose. Okay, that would be bad. So watch out for that. Another thing with the burners is we're going to close down the oxygen. Okay, we want gas to get in there, but the oxygen gas we want to minimize, and that will make it easier to ignite, but it won't be a very good flame. So I showed you those on Friday. So if you have the Tyrrell burner, you screw this thing up and down to get oxygen. You really should do it at the base. I'm grabbing it at the top. That's dangerous because that's where it's going to get hot. But here at the bottom is where you want to move this up and down to let oxygen in. And then on the straight Bunsen burners, the simple little things, you just want to close the collar. You want to close the vents off. And there's a picture of that on the next page. I'll show you in a sec. Anything flammable, we want to keep it away. That includes yourself from the flame. And another problem with having the gas jet up high is you'll have the burner on and you'll reach over the top. You'll know pretty quick if you're doing that. So just be careful. Don't reach over the top of the flame either. A lot of people missed on the Bunsen burner quiz about putting the chemical formula. That's also on this lab as well. How do you burn fuel? Remember, propane is a hydrocarbon. It's not carbon. That's carbon. Okay, this is carbon and hydrogen. So people are saying you burn carbon. It's like, no, we don't burn carbon. Well, I guess you could. You know, charcoal briquettes are essentially the same carbon. But that's going to react with oxygen. Of course, you're not adding the oxygen. It's in the air. And the only two things you should make are carbon dioxide and water. And for most people, you know, doesn't it seem weird if you have a fire that you're going to make water? It seems kind of strange, doesn't it? Like at first glance. But if you've ever been behind a car at the stoplight in the morning when it's really cold and seen water coming out of the tailpipe, anybody seen that before? That's because the internal combustion engine that is your car engine is burning octane, which is C8, not C3, with oxygen and making water vapor. And until the exhaust system gets hot enough to vaporize the water, it will come out as a liquid. When the car is cold, it will come out liquid water. But once it gets hot, once you run it for a little while, it stops doing that. All turns to gas again. Okay, complete combustion. The question number 5 asked about complete combustion. A whole bunch of people put sentences that said incomplete combustion. Complete combustion should only make carbon dioxide gas and water vapor gas. That's it. Okay. All of these things are actually a gas. Now, yes, the propane's liquid until it comes out to normal atmospheric pressure, and then it becomes a gas. You'll notice I haven't balanced it. It's balanced on your document. There's a certain number of each that come out and that you need as your reactants as well. So again, to light the burners, we're going to close off the oxygen to make it just mostly fuel. They'll still light, but they'll light really high. Okay, so you don't want to put your face close to it while you're lighting up, unless you don't like your eyebrows. I don't know. So that's a hard way to fix your eyebrows, let me tell you. Okay, so the Tyrrell burners have 2 places to adjust the gas. So one of the questions on the lab is, where do you adjust the gas for your burner? It depends. Okay, if you have a Tyrrell burner, for both of them, it's the gas nozzle, the little paddle handle. And then for these, they also have this little needle valve down here. Okay, so make sure that you know that. You shouldn't have to mess with that. So yeah, those are our 2 burners. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you to check the tubing and make sure it's not cracked or split. And then here is a Bunsen burner. Now notice on this one it has a little weird thing. Our Bunsen burners don't have that. There's like a Bunsen burner 2.0 that has a little gas valve on some models. Ours don't. Only the Tyrrells have a gas valve. And so this is the extra gas valve here. Ours don't have this little side piece. It's really easy to tell on a straight Bunsen burner if it's open or closed vents, but on the Tyrrells, you can't really see. So you're going to look at the threads down at the bottom. That's probably the best way to tell. So like this bottom one on the picture, you can see some threads, whereas the top one you can't. We don't want it closed all the way. We just want it closed a lot of the way. Okay, and then when you light it, you're going to either use matches or strikers. What do you do first if you're using matches? Gas or match? Light the match. Okay, so if you're bumbling around, you can't get the match lit, you won't have gas spewing into the room. Okay, so you light the match first, then bring it alongside. If you're using the striker, what do you do first? Strike or gas? Gas. You can strike all day. It's not going to do anything if there's no gas, right? Okay, so the match is along the side of the barrel. The striker has to be over the top too. And both of you, I've had partners before where one person does all the Bunsen burner lighting and the other person doesn't do any. I want to make sure everybody can do this, okay? Also, never leave your burners unattended, ever, ever, ever. And also make sure to turn it off when you're all done. Another question a lot of people missed was, where's the hottest part of the flame? Where's the hottest part of the flame? The end of the inner cone, the tip of that inner turquoise cone. Is it that much hotter? No, but it is the hottest part. Okay, 1560 versus 1550. Both of them are plenty hot enough to ignite stuff and hurt you. Okay, but the hottest part is at that bright blue inner cone top. The base is actually the coolest. Again, though, 300, 500 degrees Celsius is still plenty hot enough to hurt you. So don't think that, you know, it's not going to be a problem. You want to make it, once you get them lit, you'll get this yellow flame that does show incomplete combustion. So that yellow is carbon particles and stuff refracting the light. You want to hear that roar of the flame once you get the oxygen adjusted. So oxygen gives you the better heat. The gas gives you the height because it's shooting through. Okay. Questions? All right, there are a few questions on here for you to answer. You can go ahead and do that. Those of you at home can work on that at home. You've got about 4 minutes left of class. Try and get that finished up before tomorrow. Those of you that are here, stay working. Those of you, otherwise, have a great rest of your Monday. Any questions from home that I can answer?